Kure is actually a part of Honolulu County, which few people know, and it's one of the few islands that's directly administered by the state of Hawaii. The Oahu branch administers Oahu County. Kure ends up in our jurisdiction, which actually makes sense because we have a lot of offshore islands here on Oahu, so it helps to inform our work here as well.
Kure, because of its age, because of its experience, because of its isolation, provides us that window to where we're going. Literally, this island is going there, so where we're going. But it also teaches that there's other islands behind us that are coming. There's other islands that are emerging. So there's future generations of islands that are on their way. Kure, being the oldest island that's still above water in the genealogy of islands, is the Kupuna Island. So as we go further north, these islands get older. So there's that respect that's paid to the older islands. Now the inhabitants of those islands, the seabirds, the threatened and endangered Hawaiian monk seal, threatened and endangered green sea turtle, are also very important to Native Hawaiians in terms of connection. So what's really important about incorporating Hawaiian values here in a multicultural state is not just the Hawaiian values. Hawaiian values form the foundation of knowledge in Hawaii. But what's really important is everyone who lives in Hawaii now was indigenous to some place at some time and have connections. World Heritage status was given to Papahānaumokuākea on the basis of biocultural resources, right? So in terms of the biology, which is directly related to the geology, Kure is at the Darwin line. We're going to understand more about climate change in terms of ocean acidification, in terms of how corals are going to behave. We have great data on population dynamics of biodiversity there. So it's that time series and data series that I talk about that we need to continue investing in order to make projections.
So you need that benchmark because everybody forgets. The world always starts whenever you show up, right? This is normal, everything else is a decline. But where did it start, you know? And if you don't have a place like Kure that gives you that benchmark, you know, you think the benchmark is somewhere along the continuum, but the continuum's way out there.
The habitat restoration that we have been conducting on Kure intensively for the last 4 years, but certainly for the last 20 years, is primarily to restore the habitat from primarily non-native plants to mostly native plants.
We do monitor the monk seals and we monitor the wildlife. And if there's marine debris or anything that needs to be taken care of or an entangled animal, then we'll kind of drop everything else and go deal with that because it's a more immediate threat to the wildlife.
Or the sharks will come right up to you and they're just curious, you know, and birds will land on you and you know, you can approach wildlife and they won't instinctually, you know, step back or like move out of the way or get scared. So I think that's one way Kure has really impacted me, and that's one thing I really appreciate about being able to go out there and be a part of the system.
With the work that we're trying to do now, hopefully, you know, there's a balance and an understanding that, you know, we're there to take care. And I feel that, like that's why I think I love it out there so much, is that there's a very positive response from the land.
And without the field camps out there to help out, I think you're going to experience a slow degradation. Slow and or rapid, you know, there's going to be some pulses, but basically things are going to go downhill. We've seen that with a lot of the species such as, you know, Verbicina and that kind of thing, where it'll just take over huge areas, just takes over native areas. And without that little bit of help where you go in there and you start to knock it back and you let the natives start to reestablish, you're just going to have this degradation, and I don't know what we're going to end up with. You know, the island would be all verbicina, there'd be ants everywhere, there's a lot of marine debris issues. I mean, we're out there helping out, you know, rescuing monk seals that have plastic tied around them, and they're going to die if you don't rescue them. And we've gone out there and rescued a number of animals who will just die out there and nobody will know. You know, I really give a lot of credit to the folks that are out there working, spend all that time out there. It's really takes a special type of person to work out there. It takes an incredible amount of dedication. It's a very difficult place to operate. It takes a lot of expertise, you know, and unbelievable skill set.
In a few years, you're going to be in a position where hopefully you're going to be making management decisions, or somebody like you is going to be making management decisions. We know climate change is occurring. We know what Kure looked like. As other parts of the world warm up and we begin to lose coral in those places, Hawaii will be one of the last places impacted, and possibly provide the seed material that comes out of this next warming period, and the propagules which then go out and reseed certainly parts of the Pacific over a period of time. So that's why it's important. We are the seed bank for the rest of the Pacific.
We all know as soon as we set foot on it that there's something really remarkable about the place, and to malama that is an honor, and it gives us all as much as we give.
What we need to do is think less about our needs today and think more about the needs of our children tomorrow, which will result in better land development, better allocation of funding, better prioritization of work products that will lead to the improvement of natural resources, so that our children and grandchildren then have a challenge. Because if we leave it better for them and challenge them to leave it better for the next generation, by the time we get about 10 generations down the road, it should be in pretty good shape.